Okay, so these are what are called the double angle formulas, okay? And we need to memorize sine and cosine, okay? We can ignore tan. The way you can get to these is actually taking those sum and difference formulas. So let's say, ideally we would memorize these, but if you don't memorize these, then the way we get to these is using the sum and difference formulas, and instead of using it of two different angles, it's the same angle. So if you think about sine of 2u, right, what did we say was the pattern for the sum of sine? Sine, cosine, cosine, sine. Well, what if sine is of the same angle as cosine? So if it said sine of u, cosine of u, plus cosine of u, sine of u. Well, technically, this is two of the exact same things, right? The order is different because one's sine, cosine, the other one's cosine, sine, but it's a product. So I could switch the order and make them the same thing. This becomes 2 sine u, cosine u. So if you forget your double angle formula, but you know your sum formula, you can use the sum formula to get to your double angle formula. Does that make sense? Okay, now think about, so that one, there's only one for sine of 2u, and it is 2 sine u, cosine u. For cosine, there's 3, and you can use any of them, and we'll talk about in a little bit like a strategy, like why would you choose one over the other, okay? But the formula, the first one is cosine squared minus sine squared. The second one is 2 cosine squared minus 1, and the third one is 1 minus 2 sine squared. So now let's talk about if it relates to your cosine sum. So if I said the cosine of u plus u, because this would be a double angle if there was two of the same angle, what's the pattern for cosine? Cosine, cosine, so cosine u times cosine u. And I change the sign to minus. Minus sine u, sine u. And that's the same thing as cosine squared u minus sine squared u. So again, ideally you remember your doubles, but if you forget your doubles and you know your sums, you can get from one to the other. Now think about how we get from here to here and here to here. Yesterday we talked about our identities with sine and cosine, right? What's the Pythagorean identity with sine and cosine? Sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. So if I wanted to replace the sine squared here, I could replace it with, let's see here, I'll write it out so you can see it. Sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1, which means sine by itself would equal what? 1 minus cosine squared. So if I took that and I made it cosine squared u minus 1 minus cosine squared, I get cosine squared u minus 1 plus cosine squared, which is 2 cosine squared u minus 1. And then if I did the same thing but replaced the cosine, cosine squared is 1 minus sine squared. So I get 1 minus sine squared, which is 1 minus 2 sine squared. Ideally, we memorize these, and you don't have to do any of that work, okay? But if you get stuck and you can't remember your double angle formulas, but you know your sum and difference, and you know your Pythagorean identity, you can get from one to the other, okay? But sine of 2u is 2 sine cosine, and then cosine of 2u has 3 options. The c comes first, so cosine squared minus sine squared, 2 cosine minus squared minus 1, or 1 minus 2 sine squared.
It's like sine squared, right? Like, for example, u is pi over 3. Do we square, like, the actual angle of pi over 3?
No, right, you would, well, if you're plugging your value in, you square it, yes. And then you would find the sine of it. But we're not plugging values in. You'll see, you're going to use these in solving equations. So you'll see in a second. Yeah.
Sorry, I was a bit confused. When you went from sine squared to cosine squared u, like, is that just how it's, like, you can replace it?
So this top part is your Pythagorean identity, and then I solved it for sine.
Okay.
So because sine equals 1 minus cosine squared, I took this here, and I replaced sine squared with 1 minus cosine squared.
Oh,
So that's just how I can get from here to here, and then I can do the same thing but replace cosine squared to get from here to here.
okay, thank you.
But ideally you memorize it, because that's a lot of crappy work that you don't want to have to do. Yeah. Yeah.
I can't you see what
All right, so example 8 says find all the solutions of the equations on the interval of 0 to 2 pi bracket on the 0, parentheses on the 2 pi. And A says sine of 2x minus sine of x equals 0. So how do I know these are different? I know it's different, and it's not going to say in here it's a double angle. I know they're different because on my variable is a 2. That will either say 2x or 2 theta or whatever it is. And that tells me I have to change that to its equation for sine of 2. And in our screenshot, it's sine of 2u, but it's sine of 2 times any variable. So sine of 2x is the same thing as 2 sine x cosine x. Because that's the formula for sine. I knew you were going to ask. I'm going to pull it in. This is, if you just screenshot it, that's what you screenshot. Right? Those are our formulas. So sine of 2x is the same thing as sine of 2u. U is just your variable. That's the formula. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to replace sine of 2x with it. So I get 2 sine x cosine x minus sine x equals 0. Now what? Factor out my sine. So I'm going to take the sine out. 2 cosine x minus 1 equals 0. And then split and solve. No, I could solve it. Like, I'm going to solve it, but I can't factor it. Yeah. So the left side is that sine of x equals 0, and the right-hand side, 2 cosine x equals 1, and cosine x equals 1/2. And where is sine 0? At 0 and pi, and we don't include 2 pi because it said parentheses, right, on the 2 pi. And where's cosine 1/2? Pi over 3 and 5 pi over 3. Yep. Okay, cosine 2x plus sine of x equals 0. Okay, when you go and you look at your cosine, which you have choices, right? One has cosine and sine, one has just cosine, and one has just sine. So if I look at what else is given in this equation, right, this is what I'm replacing, but the other term is sine. So I can eventually get there if I bring in cosine squared minus sine squared, but I'd have to then replace cosine with 1 minus sine squared using my Pythagorean identities. If I go to the second one and I bring in 2 cosine, now I've got cosine squared minus 1 and a sine. Again, 2 different trig functions. Eventually I could get there, but I have to replace the cosine squared. If I go to the bottom one, I'm bringing in just sine. So now I'm only in terms of sine, and that's way easier to solve. So I'm going to choose between. Yep. So I'm going to replace cosine 2x with 1 minus 2 sine squared x, and then I finish it out, plus sine x equals 0. So you can choose, like, I could either move everything to the right-hand side to keep my x squared positive. I could multiply by -1. You could factor with a negative x squared, which would be yucky, but you could do it. I would rewrite it like 2 sine squared x minus sine x minus 1 equals 0. So I just multiply everything by -1. Yep. And I in the last class, they were like, could you review trial and error? So sure, God bless you. We will do both, factoring, okay? But you could either do first times last here, find the factors of that sum to the middle term, and then put 4 terms and factor by grouping. How many of you are those kind of people, of factoring by grouping people? Okay. You could kick the first term back, factor, and then redivide by it. How many of you are those type of people? So, and I didn't start until like the sophomore class, I think. Somebody must have discovered it when they were in middle school, and they started teaching it. But I could rewrite that as like 2a squared minus a minus 1, right? And you can multiply the 2 back, and I get a squared minus a minus 2. Factor it that way. A and a, I know, -2 plus 1. But you have to then redivide by what you multiplied back. So I divide by 2. And I get a minus 1. And then this has to get multiplied to the front. So it would be sine of x minus 1 and 2 sine of x plus 1. If you understand that, stick to it. But not a lot of people were taught that. So don't freak out if that had made no sense to you, okay? A second option would be, so if I take out the sign, I'm going to do the same level. So 2a squared minus a minus 1. Multiply first times last. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Find the factors of negative 2 that sum to the middle term. So negative 2, positive 1. Replace the middle term. And then factor by grouping. Take out a 2a, a minus 1, and the other one is already a minus 1, so there's a 1 in the front, and I get a minus 1 and 2a plus 1. How many of you are those people? Okay. The last way, and I would say I would recommend the last way, when your terms are prime, which is trial and error. I feel like nobody teaches it anymore. So if it's prime, like 2 and 1 are prime, the most amount of tries you're going to have is 2. So I put parentheses, I factor the first term in the first spot. So 2a squared would be 2a times a. And then I do the factors of negative 1 in the second spot. So I can do negative 1 and positive 1. And then check it by multiplying the outer 2 and the inner 2. It would be 2a minus a, which gives you positive a, and I need it to be negative a. So then I switch the signs. So I make it a positive 1 and a negative 1. Now it's negative 2a plus a, which gives me negative a. And that's the option that I want. So trial and error is fast if they're prime. If you don't understand it, or you'd do a different method, do whatever method you want to do, okay? But eventually we get to here. Sine x minus 1 and 2 sine x plus 1. Why would you do that? I mean, you could do that. Just to be difficult. You certainly could do the quadratic formula if you like. All right.
I probably should, but I don't have any method at all. I just sort of like...
You need to pick a method. Pick a method. All right, so sine of x equals 1. Shh. 2 sine of x equals negative 1, and sine of x equals negative 1/2. All right, so where does that happen? Where is sine 1?
Pi over 2.
Pi over 2. And where is sine negative 1/2?
11 pi over 6 and 7 pi over 6.
Good. 7 pi over 6, 11 pi over 6. We good so far? Okay, if you've zoned out, come back to me because B gets a little bit more confusing. What's the only difference between A and B? It's an inequality sign. So if you go back to, like, if you think about if you're solving a polynomial and you have an inequality sign, like if I had x squared minus 25 is greater than 0. I have to solve it as though it was equal. I get my test points on my number line, and I plug in to see which ones work. Does that sound familiar? Okay, same concept here. So I would pretend it's equal to 0. I would solve it just like I just did. It's the same question, so I already have the answers, which are pi over 2, 7 pi over 6, and 11 pi over 6. And then I got to put them on the number line in order from smallest to greatest. So pi over 2, 7 pi over 6, 11 pi over 6. And then I have to test points. Go back to the instructions. What does it say the smallest thing should be? 0. So really I'm getting cut off at 0, and I'm going up until 2 pi. So I want only between that range. So it's not like any value less than pi over 2. So I'm going to pick a value that's less than pi over 2 that's easy to plug in, which would be what? Easier. 0. 0 is way easier, yeah? Pi over 4 works, but 0 is easier. And I'm going to plug it into my initial question. So I'm going to plug in 0. Cosine 2 times 0 plus sine of 0 needs to be greater than 0. So I get cosine of 0 plus sine of 0 needs to be greater than 0. What's cosine at 0? 1. What's sine at 0? 0. Is 1 greater than 0? Yes. So I want to keep this range at least. Now here's what's bad about these trig functions. They don't behave like a regular polynomial, so you cannot assume it's every other. I'll show you what it looks like when we get it on the graphing utility. That means I literally have to plug in from each range. So what's an easy thing to plug in between pi over 2 and 7 pi over 6? Pi. So I'm going to plug in pi. Cosine 2 times pi plus sine pi greater than 0. What's the cosine at 2 pi? 1. What's the sign at pi? 0. Is that greater than 0? Yes, so that also works. Now I go between 7 pi over 6 and 11 pi over 6. 3 pi over 2, good. Cosine 3 pi over 2 times 2 plus sine 3 pi over 2 greater than 0. Cosine 3 pi, negative 1, and then sine is 0. No, sine is, sorry.
Although it's 0.
Thank you. No. Cosine,
Yeah, cosine is 0. And then
cosine at 3 pi, because the 3 over 2 and the times 2 cancel out. Cosine at 3 pi is negative 1. Sine at 3 pi over 2, also negative 1. So it still doesn't work, but yeah. All right, so then that I rule out. Now, in between 11 pi over 6 and 2 pi, there's not really much. So I can use 2 pi. I just would not include that answer if it works. So I want to know if it's going above the x-axis, because that's what it would be for it greater to be 0. So I'm going to plug in 2 pi. I just know if it works, that part gets a parentheses. Does that make sense?
it's U, right? How come the 0 gets a bracket and the 2 pi gets a bracket?
Because the question said this. That's not my answer. That's just my interval. Okay, so now I'm going to do cosine 2 times 2 pi plus sine 2 pi greater than 0. Cosine 4 pi plus sine 2 pi greater than 0. What's the cosine at 4 pi? 1. What's the sine at 2 pi? 0. Is that greater than 0? Yeah, so I also include that part of the curve. With me so far? Okay, so my initial question said greater than or equal to 0 or greater than 0? Greater than. So even though both these consecutive spots worked, I can't include this guy because it said greater than, not greater than or equal to. Does that make sense? So I'm going to do negative, I'm going to do from 0 with a bracket. No, I'm going to do from 0 with a parenthesis, sorry, because I can't include it. 2 pi over 2, but then I got to stop it.
But we tried 0 and it worked, right?
0 is greater than 0, but I don't want it to be greater than or equal to. I want it to be greater than. Oh, wait, 0 is greater than 0. So 0 can... When I plugged in 0, it worked. So I know I kept it, right? But my question is not, is it greater than or equal to? Is it greater than? So because 0 is not an actual 0, are you with me?
Yeah.
It can get a bracket.
0 is just like the point on the circle.
Correct. And we'll look at it when it can get so it gets a bracket. Then this pi over 2 goes to 7 pi over 6. 7 pi over 6 is a 0, so I can't include it. It gets a parentheses. Then it stops and it starts to get 11 pi over 6, which is a 0, so it gets a parentheses. And it goes to 2 pi. And not because 2 pi is a 0, but because we said 2 pi gets a parentheses up here, 2 pi gets a parentheses.
We tried 2 pi, but it didn't work. It did work.
It did work, but it's not a 0, right? Okay.